They called him useless, a failure, cast out by his own team and left to rot in the dungeon's endless night. His cries went unanswered, his hope shattered. But in that silence, something answered. The darkness itself reached out and forged him into something far beyond human. From the depths where no light dares to shine, he rose with power that defied gods and an army that bows to no king. Now, the weakling they abandoned has returned, not for mercy, but for vengeance. The story begins in a magical world shared by 9 races. Dragonutes, elves, onests, dwarves, demons, dark elves, centaurs, beastfolk, and humans, from whom a young adventurer called Light was born. Wanting to give his family a better life, Light says goodbye to his hometown and sets out to explore for money and power. After reaching a big city, Light gets shoved around by the crowd, but he continues searching for the Adventurers Guild. When he finally enters the guild, he introduces himself to the receptionist, who asks if he wants to register as a fresh adventurer. As he nods, she explains that he'll start from the lowest F rank and then asks if he has a special ability. Light responds that he has an unlimited gacha ability, which allows him to roll for random cards and summon them. To demonstrate, he summons a broken fork in front of her, leaving the receptionist completely speechless. Embarrassed, Light tries to act like silverware isn't the only thing he can summon, but his next rolls just give him a bunch of rotten snacks. Light feels disappointed that his luck has decided to betray him at the worst possible moment, and the receptionist confirms that he deserves the pathetic F rank. After receiving his adventurer's card, he asks her for some quests, and she tells him to check the guild's job board. At the mention of job posts, Light looks awkward, and the receptionist quickly realizes that he can't even read the board. Feeling pity for her uneducated fellow human, she kindly reads out the job posts for him. Feeling excited to finally earn some real money, Light happily accepts the boring tasks. After a full day of hard work, he finally earns enough money to rent a room. However, a gang of beastfolk knocks him down and starts bullying him as their leader picks up his hard-earned money. Light begs him to have mercy, but the cruel wolfman only laughs before knocking him back with a hard uppercut. The wolfman taunts Light for begging for spare change and coldly leaves with his laughing gang. Even the surrounding crowd ignores Light while he lies on the ground, until a kind elf helps him up. Light gets surprised by the many adventurers surrounding him and backs down in shock. Seeing how frightened he is, the elf hugs him to comfort him, even as the passers-by mock her. Shocked that a pretty elf would get dirty for his sake, Light allows her to help him stand. The adventurers then introduce themselves as members of the Concord of Tribes. A beast man named Geru explains that each member represents one of the 9 races, and the elf introduces herself as Sasha. She introduces the rest of her companions: Drago, Diablo, Obero, Nano, Sion, and Santor. With 8 of the 9 races already represented, Light learns that the Concord is searching for a human member to complete their unity of all races in the world. As Geru reaches out his hand to invite him, Light feels stunned that someone actually needs his help, then happily accepts the invitation. Soon, Light begins exploring a cave dungeon called the Abyss with his new group. When a huge worm beast tries to attack him, Geru chops it apart before it can hurt him. But another worm sneaks up behind Light, so Sasha quickly takes it down with her bow. She scolds Light for being careless and reminds him that they are exploring the world's most dangerous dungeon where he could easily die. She sits down and takes care of his wounds. Noticing how she's acting like his mother, the other party members begin teasing Sasha for spoiling Light so much. Blushing furiously, Sasha tries to act like she doesn't care about Light at all, claiming she's just protecting a fellow member. But as the party ignores her weak excuse, Sasha only gets more defensive. Drago steps in and cheers up Light, praising him for making excellent tea for their team. With his spirits lifted, Light follows the group deeper into the dungeon. When the group suddenly stops at a dead end, Light thinks they are about to take a break, so he begins preparing tea. But to his shock, Drago coldly tells him that they don't need the tea, because they're kicking him out of the party. At first, Light thinks it's just a prank, but Drago harshly repeats his words, leaving him stunned. Geru also tells him that he's out, so Light asks why they're dumping him. Geru replies that their group doesn't need him, and Sasha even expresses disgust at his foolishness. Xion and Nano also mock Light for being pathetic, while the demons in the group feel relieved that they can finally get rid of him. Hurt, Light asks why they would be so cruel after all their kindness earlier. That's when Geru reveals that they were just faking their kindness to lure him into their party. Light wonders why such powerful masters would even need him, and Drago explains that it was only because of his special ability. They thought he might be an overpowered maestro, but it turned out his ability was trash. Light protests that his unlimited gacha ability never seemed useful, and Geru mocks him further, saying that as a talentless human, he is just dead weight. Shocked and devastated, Light realizes they were only using him and that it took them this long to finally dump him. Meanwhile, Sasha feels relieved, saying she can now marry her master instead of ending up with the pathetic human boy. Overwhelmed by this shocking betrayal, Light barely has time to react before Drago tells Geru to finish him off. Light suddenly realizes the danger he's in, but as he sees their hostile stares, he understands they plan to kill him to prevent him from ever getting stronger and seeking revenge later. Geru slashes his cheek with his claws, and as Light looks at the blood flowing, the rest of the party watches coldly. Light tries to run, but Sasha shoots an arrow at his leg to prevent him from escaping. Struggling in pain, Light collapses, and Geru takes pleasure in his suffering by kicking him hard in the stomach before brutally beating him. Sasha finally stops him, reminding him that Light's death needs to look like an accident, but Geru only raises his claw for a final strike. As Light desperately crawls, wanting to live, Geru finds joy in watching him struggle. Suddenly, Light's hand presses against a teleportation trap. Drago yells for Geru to kill him before it activates, but it's too late. The trap safely teleports Light away before the Beastman can reach him. When Light wakes up elsewhere in the dungeon, he is still badly injured and thinks that any monster could eat him at this point. As the cold chill of the cave reminds him of his loving family, Light begins to cry. He recalls how kind the Concord had seemed at first, and wonders why they became so cruel, their cold expressions haunting him. He feels anger building up from their betrayal and confusion at how he got caught up with such dangerous people, but his confusion quickly turns into fury as he vows revenge. Light forces himself to his feet, determined to cut down all of them, but suddenly feels a cold gaze behind him. Turning around, he sees a level 1 Orthus beast stalking him. Shocked, Light wonders why such a broken monster would be here, and realizes that the teleportation trap sent him to the deepest level of the abyss. As the Orthus approaches, Light desperately spams his unlimited gacha ability, praying for a miracle. At the last moment, his frantic roll summons a huge magic circle that releases a powerful aura. In disbelief, Light watches as the gacha summons an ancient fairy. Recognizing Light as her master, the mysterious fairy easily chops the monster apart before gracefully landing in front of him. With a flick of her hands, she clears the mess and then humbly kneels before Light, healing all his wounds with her magic. She even apologizes for healing him without permission, saying she couldn't bear to see him injured. Light introduces himself, still in disbelief that he managed to summon the most overpowered fairy in the world. The fairy, captivated by his name, repeats it lovingly before swearing complete loyalty to him. Not knowing who she really is, Light asks for her name. She reveals that she is May, the level 99,999 ever-seeking maid, a super ultra-rare card from his gacha. Light can hardly believe it, saying that his gacha only ever produced junk, and there's no way he pulled such a powerful being. But May insists that he completely deserves her, and begs him to accept her. Seeing her pitiful face, Light finally agrees, and May thanks him tearfully. She then asks to examine his gacha ability, revealing that she has the appraisal skill. With his permission, her glowing eyes examine him, and she discovers layers of hidden protections. May explains that the gacha only seemed useless before because Light was in areas with little mana, but here in the Abyss, where mana is supercharged, the gacha absorbed it and boosted his chances of pulling rare cards. She explains the full ranking system of the cards, from extra rank and super ultra rare down to normal and error. Light still doesn't fully understand, so May clarifies that on the surface, he could never summon anything good because there wasn't enough mana. She praises him for figuring out the gacha's true potential by entering the Abyss, even though it was extremely dangerous. However, when Light admits he only entered because of his party, May listens as he tells her about their betrayal. Crying as he recalls their cruel taunts and abuse, Light vents his pain and says he only wanted to earn an honest living for his family. May is devastated by his story, and when he falls to his knees saying he'll never forgive them, she silently hugs him. In her warm embrace, Light finally calms down. May tells him that she may never fully understand his suffering, but she will use all her power to give the Concord their deserved retribution. Shocked, Light tries to stop her, but she vows to line all of them up in front of him in an instant. Light insists that he doesn't want to abuse her power for revenge. Instead, he vows to grow stronger himself and punish the Concord with his own 2 hands. May thinks he is too kind for his own good, but promises her unwavering support. Encouraged, Light smiles as she returns his smile. With May by his side, Light begins using his gacha again, summoning more powerful tools in the Abyss. Fueled by the infinite mana, giant magic circles surround him, summoning ultimate weapons and items. With May watching faithfully at his side, Light begins the first step of his journey, building his empire in the darkness of the abyss, ready to rise stronger than ever before. 3 years have passed since that fateful day, and now Light rules over hundreds of maids inside a grand palace that he built himself. May, as she promised on the day she met him, is always by his side. All the maids seem completely smitten by him, cheering whenever he walks by, their faces lighting up with joy whenever he notices them. While May tries to keep them in line and tells them to behave properly, Light leaves the castle and heads toward the bustling local market. The townspeople immediately recognize him. One of the vendors calls him over for breakfast, while others approach him to complain about a shortage of snack foods in the country. Light smiles and promises to handle the problem soon, but May quickly interrupts, telling him not to concern himself with such trivial matters. She insists that she'll personally ensure the logistics issue is resolved as soon as possible. Listening to her, Light realizes that he will have to create a new logistics system altogether, since the population of his city has grown several-fold over the last 3 years. Curious about his team, he asks May where the rest of his legendary summons are. May replies that Yuki, the beast tamer, is currently busy crafting maps of the areas surrounding the dungeons and scouting the nearby forests for any signs of trouble. Light briefly thinks about all the dangerous monsters that must be roaming through those woods, but knows that none of them would pose a threat to a genius beast tamer like Yuki. May continues, saying that Ellie, the mage, is still hard at work trying to create the complex spells that align with Light's grand plan. Light wonders whether Ellie can truly manage such difficult magic, considering the number of intricate components involved in the spells he asked her to create. He then asks about Naz, the vampire knight, who is excellent at close combat but rather dumb in other areas. May sighs and replies that she assigned Naz to patrol the castle grounds, saying it's the best way to keep her from using her empty brain and getting herself into any kind of trouble. Light laughs softly at that, saying he doesn't really mind her antics. After all, she makes life around the castle far more entertaining. Soon, they return to the castle where Jack, the last of Light's 4 legendary summons, calls out to him, asking if he's ready for some training. May looks slightly annoyed and sternly tells Jack that he should address Light properly as master. But Jack, being the kind of person who doesn't care about such formalities, completely ignores her. Light tells May that it's fine since he considers Jack more like an older brother than a subordinate, and he decides to join him for training. Inside the training grounds, both of them take their stances, and with a sudden burst of speed, Light rushes forward and lands a solid punch right into Jack's rock-hard abs, pushing him backward with surprising force. Jack grins, impressed by Light's power, and comments that any normal adventurer would have died from a hit like that. But since he's built like a tank, he can handle it easily. They clash again, meeting in the middle of the ground as their fists collide with tremendous force before backing away from each other. Light immediately follows up with a rapid barrage of strikes, which Jack dodges skillfully. Meanwhile, Naz continues her patrol through the corridors, humming a tune and moving along cheerfully. Some of the maids stop her, smiling sweetly and showering her with compliments, saying they feel so safe knowing that she's always on patrol to keep danger away. Delighted by their words, Naz grins happily, exactly as the mischievous maids intended. They decide to play a prank on her and suggest that she should go and check Light's bedroom to make sure everything there is safe and secure. Taking the suggestion completely seriously, Naz nods and rushes toward Light's chambers. But just as she tries to open the door, May steps out from inside the room. Surprised, Naz asks what May was doing in Light's bedroom when he's clearly away training at this time. May immediately blushes and nervously claims that she was simply cleaning the room while he was away. Naz insists that she must inspect the room herself to ensure no threat is hiding inside. Before May can stop her, Naz pushes past and enters the room, only to notice that the bed is ruffled, the pillows dented, and everything looks suspiciously messy. With her usual cluelessness, Naz blurts out that it looks like someone was rolling around on the bed and sniffing the pillows, then innocently asks if May intentionally made it look that way. Thinking quickly, May decides to turn the situation in her favor and confidently replies that it's her special bed-making style. Naz looks impressed and immediately asks if she can learn how to do that as well, but May refuses, claiming it's a personal trade secret. Before Naz can ask more questions, she suddenly remembers that the maids had given her a message to deliver to May. She takes out a parchment and hands it over. Reading it, May realizes that the maids are revolting against her because she always monopolizes the task of cleaning Light's bedroom and never lets them do it. Trying to stay composed, May tells Naz not to worry about it and that she'll handle the issue herself. To keep Naz quiet about what just happened, May hands her some spare coins as a bribe. Ecstatic, Naz skips away happily, heading straight to the market to spend her newfound fortune. After looking through various stalls, she finally decides to treat herself to fluffy pancakes and a glass of fresh milk. Feeling pleased, she marches back toward the castle, where she spots Yuki sitting on a high balcony. She asks whether Yuki's work in the forest is done. Clearly exhausted and unimpressed by Naz's childishness, Yuki holds up the completed map and says she's already finished what May requested. Naz congratulates her and returns to her patrol, eventually entering the grand throne room. Seeing it empty, she starts yelling and singing loudly, enjoying the echo. Then, feeling playful, she jumps onto the throne itself, pretending to give royal orders. In her carelessness, she accidentally breaks one of the wings off an angel statue beside the throne. Horrified at what she's done and terrified of May's wrath, she hurriedly tries to stick the broken piece back in place before bolting out of the room in a panic. Back in the training grounds, Light and Jack continue sparring until Jack decides they should call it a day and go relax. They head to the enormous bathing hall, where they soak in the warm water. Jack praises Light for learning so quickly and says that with his current power, the monsters in the dungeon would be child's play for him, and only a handful of people on the surface could even challenge him now. However, he warns Light that there are still some out there who would destroy him the moment they got the chance. Light's expression darkens as he remembers the betrayal he faced 3 years ago. He clenches his fists and vows that he won't stop until he gets his revenge. Meanwhile, in her chambers, May summons the 4 troublesome maids and reads their letter aloud. The maids freeze in fear, unable to speak. They quickly apologize, claiming that the letter was only meant to show support because they know how overworked May is. May coldly tells them to stop worrying about her work and focus on their own. She denies their request to clean Light's chamber and instead punishes them by ordering them to clean the long hallway leading to the throne room by hand. The maids gasp in horror, protesting that the hallway is too long, but May insists they do it, saying it will keep them busy while she's away on a mission with Light. Later, Naz is outside a shop window, staring at a shiny new gauntlet that she desperately wants but can't afford. While she's daydreaming, Ellie appears and asks what she's looking at. Naz points to the gauntlet and then asks Ellie why she's back so soon, since she was supposed to be supervising the new construction project. Ellie smiles and says the construction is going smoothly, so she decided to sneak in a short break. The two soon start bickering, as usual, arguing about who is closer to Light and who is more important to him. Ellie brags that she's directly involved in Light's revenge plan, and even mentions that she recently had a lovely tea evening with him to discuss progress. She adds with a smug smile that the next time they meet, she plans to have a private dinner with him. Naz pouts and says she wants to have tea with Light too, reminding Ellie that she's an expert in close combat and offering her help anytime. Ellie laughs softly and tells her she'll keep that in mind before walking off, leaving Naz to return to her brainless duty. Back at the castle, the 4 maids who were punished start gossiping again, complaining that May is no better than the angry little mustache man from Germany. They wonder if they should go behind her back and tell Light everything, but none of them dare to face her wrath. One maid points out that the reason Light seems so attached to May is because she was his very first summon. Another adds that it took Light 2 whole months after summoning May to finally summon Yuki, meaning the 2 of them were alone together in the dungeon for that entire time. Overcome by jealousy, the maids start rolling on the floor, ranting nonsense, and even trying to perform voodoo magic to make May disappear. Unfortunately for them, May overhears the commotion and storms into their room. Cornered, the maids panic and apologize frantically, claiming they were just jealous and didn't mean any of it. May crosses her arms and tells them to stop letting their fantasies run wild. During those 2 months, she explains, Light was fully focused on mastering every bit of magic and martial arts he could learn. There was no time for anything else. The maids sigh in relief, thinking they're off the hook, but May continues. saying she came here thinking she'd been too harsh on them earlier, only to realize she actually wasn't. So she orders them to clean the entire throne room as well, since they apparently have enough free time to waste on nonsense. Completely defeated, the maids obey her orders and begin cleaning, deciding to keep their mouths shut this time. But while dusting near the throne, one of them accidentally knocks off the same angel wing that Nas broke earlier. The piece falls to the floor, and the maids freeze in terror, horrified at what just happened and fearing May's reaction. The next morning, Light enters the dungeon, where Nas, Ellie, and Yuki are already waiting for him. He greets them warmly, but Nas and Ellie immediately start bickering as usual. Suddenly, a monster emerges from the shadows. A hellhound. Light freezes instantly, the color draining from his face as he recognizes the creature. Though he knows he's far stronger now, the trauma from 3 years ago still haunts him, and his blood runs cold at the sight of it. His party, however, reacts very differently. All 3 of his legendary summons burst out in fury at the sight of the beast that terrifies their master. Nas unsheathes her blade, ready to chop it into tiny pieces, while Ellie asks for permission to eradicate the entire species of hellhounds from existence. Yuki growls that she'd rather find the gates of hell itself and throw this creature straight into its deepest pit. Their combined aura is so overwhelming that the hellhound whimpers and begins backing away in terror, fully aware that it's completely outmatched. Light takes a deep breath, regains his composure, and gently calls his team to stand down. He steps forward, pats the trembling beast on the head, and reminds himself that even a joking command from him could cause his summons to wipe out the entire race of hellhounds from the world. After a moment, he turns back to his team and tells them it's time. They will now head toward the surface and begin their long-awaited plan of revenge. Meanwhile, in Jeru's hometown, the villagers shamelessly bootlick him to get into his good books. While arrogantly striding through town, Guru notices a poor human trying to scavenge some trash, and he kicks him down just for fun. Then, he heads to a tavern and orders a feast with his lackeys, who praise him for rising through the ranks as an orphan and boosting their wolf tribe's status. Guru thinks that he became strong due to his natural sense of perception as a beastman, but his lackeys point out that his sense of perception is the strongest among them. Agreeing with their point, Gao admits that he can always sense which missions have the best rewards, so he's always able to make quick money. Curious, the lackey asks him how much money he got from hunting Light 3 years ago, but he says that it was a secret mission from the Federation, so he can't talk about it. Thinking back, Guru feels like slaying Light was the easiest job ever. He thinks that even though Light fled away, there was no way he survived the dangerous abyss afterward. However, as he remembers that all the countries in their world are looking for a maestro, he wonders why they're so important. Suddenly, his tail shivers from a sense of danger, and Guru decides not to think about deep secrets too much. As his lackeys continue ordering drinks without a care, May interrupts their chatting. When she tries talking to Gao, his lackeys start screaming at her for talking to their master without permission. He silences them and asks May what she wants. She introduces herself as Light's first maid. At her mention, Gao is shocked, and she tells him that she's been searching for her missing master. May explains that Light is actually from a noble family, and that his family has been searching for him. Gao refuses to believe that a harmless wimp like Light could be from a noble family, but after May insists, he decides to listen to her. While he is excited to make money, May sheds tears, saying that her master might have perished in the treacherous abyss. In front of everyone's shocked eyes, she offers a briefcase full of pure gold. If Guru helps her see the place where Light was last seen, still feeling like it's a trap, Guru accepts the job, since he thinks May can't threaten him as a human. On the surface, he acts like Light was a brother from his party, and that he would help her see him even without the money. Shedding tears, May thanks Gu for his generous offer. A month later, he takes May to the abyss. Once they finally reach the dungeon, May sweats hard, looking exhausted from all the travel. As Gahu looks back at her, he feels a malicious hunger to complete the mission and use May's weakened body to his advantage at her master's grave. Once they finally reach the spot where the Concord betrayed Light, Guru tells May that it's where he lost his friend to a monster. As she falls to her knees in despair, Gao apologizes for his party's carelessness that led to the loss of their friend. He silently signals to his minions, who block the exit to the cave. While Guru thinks he's going to have a great time with the foolish girl, suddenly May's voice turns cold. She says that it's a pity her master was brought to a dangerous dungeon only to be betrayed by scum party members. Hearing her cold words, a chill runs down Gu's spine, and he backs up in caution. While his lackeys look on in confusion, Guru realizes that Mei is setting up a trap for him since nobody knows what happened to Light except the Concord and their higher-ups. Thinking she's a spy from another country, Guru asks for Mei's identity. She scoffs, saying that she is only loyal to her master, Light. After declaring that she'll make Guru pay for his crimes, Mei looks back with a fierce glare that leaves him paralyzed with fear, thinking that human women are just pieces of meat to use. Guru feels shocked that Mei has the power to threaten him. As Mei stares at him like he's a piece of trash, Guru thinks he's dead. However, a hooded figure suddenly appears and stops her before she can take any action. As Light announces that he'll take revenge on Guru himself, Giru's minions start mocking him for threatening them as a pathetic human. Watching in horror, Guru is speechless as Light removes his hood to reveal his face. He smiles and waves at Giru's pack. While the minions wonder who he is, knowing that Light is only level 15, Gao starts laughing at his ideas of taking revenge on a level 150 monster like him. Unamused, Light watches as Guru threatens to use his corpse as a stepping stone for his achievements. However, Light points out that instead of carelessly threatening him, Guru should have been more cautious and asked how he survived the terrifying abyss. Gao agrees, but thinks that he can't threaten him even with Mei's help. Thinking that Light got lucky to meet her, he feels confident that they can't survive against this pack of level 130 minions. As Light agrees with Gao, his minions rush to attack him. Suddenly, a pile of limbs flies into the air after Mei effortlessly chops up after declaring that anyone who threatens her master will be turned into food. Mei guards the dungeon's exit to prevent Gao from escaping. While his remaining minions start panicking, Guru tells them that Mei only used a sneak attack to catch them off guard, pointing out that humans can be way stronger than his imagination. Light mocks Guru for being so delusional. However, Guru arrogantly refuses to accept reality and says that he'll show Light the true power of Beastman. Light grows silent, thinking about the discrimination humans have to face because of their weakness. Guru thinks it's only natural that other races are superior, but Light reminds him that his maid just dismembered his minions. Guru says that she must have cheated with a magic item and charges at Light to shut him up. However, Light easily knocks all of them back with his staff on the ground. Guru struggles to regain his bearings as Light walks up to him and mocks him for losing so easily. Feeling his pride hurt, Gao gets up, jumps back, and prepares to teach him a lesson with his ultimate power. He uses a magic crystal to summon a powerful level 500 Fenrir, but Light remains unimpressed while facing the magic beast. Seeing him so calm, Guru thinks that Light has lost his mind from fear. He taunts Light to get on his knees and beg for his life, but Light tells him he'll remain standing in the same spot to let his Fenrir attack. Angered by his taunt, Guru orders his beast to attack, and it starts charging a powerful spell. With a loud roar, the Fenrir unleashes a magic beam at Light, who remains standing on the spot. As the smoke clears, Guru feels confident that his monster vaporized Light. However, his jaw drops after Light appears completely unharmed from the blast. Light mocks Gu's Fenrir for just kicking up a bunch of dust in the air, while the beastmen stare in complete horror. As Gahu realizes just how much trouble he's in, Light tells him that he'll show him a real Fenrir this time. He brings out an ultra-rare card that summons a level 9000 Fenrir Emperor, which completely dwarfs Garu's. At Light's order, his Fenrir blows some soft air, which flies toward Gahu's Fenrir and freezes its entire body. The ice shatters in front of the beastmen, obliterating the fake Fenrir and any hints of Gu's remaining pride. Whimpering like a puppy, Gao asks Light if the powerful Fenrir was his trump card, but Light tells him that he could have easily defeated the Fenrir himself. He finally reveals his true level of 999, leaving Guru trembling in fear as his minions whisper that humans can only reach level 100. Guru thinks that Light is an imposter from another race acting as a human, pointing out that Light still has the body of a child. He says that any human would have grown in 3 years. Light reveals that he is wearing a bracelet of youth that stops him from aging, so he can always remind himself of the pain he suffered 3 years ago. Watching Light's cold eyes, Guru finally believes that he's the real person from 3 years back. Knowing he can't do anything against him now, Guru decides to grovel and beg for his life. He tells Light that he was only acting on someone's orders all those years ago and blames his minions for trying to attack Mei. His enraged minions scream at him for throwing them under the bus, but Guru ignores them and asks Light for mercy. Light asks him who the maestros are, and Guru says that the Federation ordered him and the others to search for them. As Light asks why they're searching for maestros, Guru explains that he wasn't told the reason. Then Light demands to know why they tried to dispose of him after making sure he wasn't a maestro, and Guru remains silent once again. He swears he truly doesn't know anything, but his minions claim that they have some information to save their lives. However, Mei cuts them all to pieces for lying. Then, Light turns his attention to Guru, saying he has one more question. He asks Gao if he could win a war against all the races with his power. But before Guru can answer, Light reminds him that Mei can see through lies with her Eye of Truth skill. Terrified, Gao admits that even with his overwhelming stats, he couldn't defeat all 9 races alone, as they've spent hundreds of years stockpiling weapons, armor, and magical items. At his answer, Light nods, agreeing that a single person can't take on the entire world, even if they reach level 999. This leaves Guru confused, and Light tells him that he has some more questions for him once they arrive at his base. He uses a teleportation card that surrounds them all and takes them away, leaving the dungeon floor as a bloodied mess. After opening his eyes, Gao looks around to find himself surrounded by powerful figures everywhere. All of the powerful beasts, maids, and soldiers pay their respects to Light as he walks forward to his throne. After Light ascends the stairs and sits on his throne, he tells his servants to stand straight and show their stats. All of the servants release their auras, with everyone over thousands of levels, each beyond Garu's comprehension. Even the lowest guards are at level 1500. While Light's leading maids are all maxed out at 99999. He tells Gao that these are all his soldiers that he has prepared in the last 3 years, asking if the forces are enough to defeat all the kingdoms on the surface. As Garu struggles to keep his sanity, Light repeats his question, but he gets his answer from the absolute horror on the Beastman's face. He smiles and tells Guru that this overwhelming despair is his punishment for what he did, while Garu thinks that he can obliterate the world at the drop of a hat. With tears in his eyes, he thinks that Light is the strongest person in the world, and even thinks that he's like a deity. As Light notices his expression, Guru asks him if he's trying to become a god. Gripping his staff, Light says that he thinks it's a good idea. In his eyes, the people who tried to hurt him are all hiding something from him, so he thinks he'll become godlike if that's what he needs to get his answers. Light summons his gacha gift, saying it gives him the power to control the world, and declares that he will judge if the world deserves punishment based on the answers it gives him. With his empire ready to fight, he orders his soldiers to head out of the abyss, beginning their war march against the 9 races. The next day, after emerging to the surface, Light's first destination is his hometown. Overwhelmed with anticipation, he eagerly rushes to see his family, but the moment he arrives, he's met with horror. The entire village has been burned to the ground, completely destroyed by an evil party. The sight leaves Light in shock and despair. Grieving this devastating loss, he takes the time to make a spiritual grave for his departed family, paying his respects to the ashes of his home. As he stands silently before the makeshift memorial, Light reflects on the tragedy, feeling both sadness and gratitude that he didn't find the bodies of his siblings, holding on to hope that they might still be alive somewhere. Behind him, a knight named Gold impatiently tells Light to hurry up, saying he doesn't have all day to wait for him to finish mourning. His insensitive words instantly anger Nimue, who snaps at Gold for being disrespectful toward their master. The two start bickering back and forth, leaving Light to wonder whether they genuinely hate each other, or if there's some kind of strange affection hidden beneath their rivalry. Gold continues to tease Nimue, saying that being overly polite can come across as fake and that he doesn't want to sleep out in the open fields. Nimue immediately rebuts that she would gladly sleep wherever Light goes, her determination bruising Gold's pride. Not to be outdone, he declares that he would follow his master to the deepest pits of the underworld out of complete loyalty, though he still grumbles about sleeping outdoors. Light cuts their argument short, reminding them that they have more pressing matters to handle. They need to find out who destroyed his village. Despite their immense power, enough to take on all 9 races combined, Light insists that they must act carefully and gather information first about the hidden strengths of the other nations. Deep down, he believes that the destruction of his village is connected to the mysterious forces of the world, powerful entities who are aware of his true identity and status. Anger wells up inside him as he remembers his parents' fate, and his aura turns bloodthirsty, filling the air with an ominous energy. Gold quickly warns him to control his emotions before they draw unnecessary attention. Taking a deep breath, Light agrees and puts on a fool's mask to conceal his identity, silently vowing to his parents that he will avenge them one day. Once their preparations are complete, the trio takes off into the sky, flying toward the city of Daugus. Mid-flight, Nemu accidentally calls him by his real name, Light, prompting Gold to scold her and remind her to use his alias, Dark, in order to keep his true identity hidden from the 9 races. Light agrees with this precaution and decides that to gather secret information, he must rise through the ranks of adventurers as Dark. His servants both approve of the idea, and before long, the city of Daugus comes into view. To avoid unwanted attention, the group lands outside the city and continues on foot. Along the way, they come across a group of bandits attacking a helpless merchant and his young son. The bandits quickly take notice of Gold's radiant golden armor and panic, realizing they've messed with the wrong people. Nemu scolds Gold for drawing attention again, but he just laughs and effortlessly ties up the bandits, leaving them incapacitated. Overwhelmed with gratitude, the merchant thanks them profusely and offers the group a ride in his carriage to Daugus. As they travel together, the merchant's son excitedly praises Gold and Nemu for their incredible strength, but Nemu proudly tells him that their master is even stronger than they are. The merchant, curious about their journey, asks if they're adventurers planning to explore the famous Daugus dungeon. Light explains that they're not registered yet, surprising the merchant, who then shares some information about the region. He explains that Daugus is a border town of the Dwarven Kingdom, neighboring the Human Kingdom to the east and the Elven Kingdom to the south. While the 3 nations have a long history of conflict, the Daugus dungeon has attracted adventurers from all over the world due to its valuable treasures. By the time the merchant finishes his explanation, they've reached the city gates. As Light's group steps out of the carriage, the merchant introduces himself as Colonel and kindly offers them a place to stay at his inn, free of charge. Grateful for the offer, Light thanks him and leads his group toward the Adventurers Guild. Along the way, they pass by numerous dwarven blacksmith shops, each one displaying masterfully crafted weapons and armor. When they enter the guild, the trio is taken aback by how crowded it is, though they soon notice that everyone is avoiding them. Humans like Light are not well received in the city. Nevertheless, Light proceeds to register as an adventurer. The receptionist assigns him an F rank, the lowest starting rank, which instantly infuriates Nemu. She begins yelling at the receptionist to give her master an S rank instead, but the receptionist nervously explains that everyone must start at the bottom. Before the scene escalates, Light steps in and accepts his F rank, preventing Nemu from causing further embarrassment. Realizing her mistake, Nemu starts crying, feeling guilty for making her master look bad in public. Gold teases her for being overly emotional, and Light has to stop him from making things worse. After completing their registration, the group heads to Colonel's inn. His son eagerly leads them upstairs to meet his father, who warmly welcomes them again. Light asks if it's possible to rent out the entire top floor of the inn for complete privacy. Colonel tries to refuse the generous bag of gold Light offers as payment, saying he can't accept money from someone who saved his life. But Light insists. Reluctantly, Colonel agrees to the arrangement. Once they're in the top room, Light casts multiple layers of protective and isolation spells to ensure complete secrecy. As he relaxes in his chair, Nemu nervously asks if it's really safe for him to expose himself by being on the surface. She suggests he stay hidden in the Abyss Fortress and let them handle the dangers of the outside world instead. Her words, however, anger Light deeply. He stands up and asks if she intends to stop him from personally avenging his family. Realizing her grave mistake, Nemu immediately falls to her knees and begs for forgiveness. Light's cold glare pierces through her, creating a tense silence, until Gold bursts out laughing, lightening the atmosphere. The tension fades, and Light sighs, helping Nemu back up. Still ashamed, Nemu insists on renewing her pledge of loyalty as an apology. Kneeling, she kisses her master's feet as part of the ritual, which embarrasses Light, though he lets her finish out of respect. Gold, on the other hand, jokingly wonders if Nemu is secretly enjoying the act, completely ruining the solemn mood. The following day, the trio heads to the Daugus dungeon. As they walk through the busy streets, people stare at Light's strange mask, making him realize that his disguise might not be perfect. When they arrive, they discover that many adventurers have already lined up to enter, forcing them to wait. Gold comments on the lack of elves in the queue, And Light explains that the Elven Kingdom and dwarves are at war over control of the dungeon, so tensions remain high. Nemu praises Light's sharp deduction skills, but presses her body against his back as she does so, claiming it's necessary to protect his rear. Their moment is interrupted when a shady group of hooded adventurers cuts in line. Observing them carefully, Light deduces that two are weaklings, while their leader is dangerous. Some other adventurers murmur complaints, but no one dares speak up. Light steps forward politely and asks them to return to their place in line. The elf leader scoffs, asking if Light knows who he's talking to. Light calmly points out that he doesn't, considering their faces are hidden under hoods, and if the elf truly held high status, he shouldn't be acting in ways that would tarnish his family's name. Gold and Nemu back their master, warning the elf to step aside. Offended, the elf reaches for his greatsword, but his partner stops him, reminding him not to cause a scene. Begrudgingly, the elf backs off, and the surrounding adventurers thank Light for diffusing the situation. As things calm down, the party in front of Light apologizes for not having the courage to intervene earlier. Light reassures them that it's fine. He simply removed an obstacle for everyone. The group relaxes, and one of them curiously asks if Gold's armor is really made of solid gold. Before their leader can stop him, Nemu explains that it only has a golden color, since real gold is too soft for battle armor. Amused, Gold confirms her words proudly. The young adventurers also ask if this is Light's first dungeon run, and he admits it is. They point out that most adventurers bring extensive camping gear, noticing that Light's group seems underprepared. Once it's their turn to enter, the kids wave goodbye and disappear into the dungeon. Before stepping inside, Light discreetly tells his team to take out some supplies from their magic storage to maintain appearances. Entering the dungeon, Nemu marvels at its massive scale and structure, amazed at how every dungeon seems to have its own unique ecosystem. Light mentions that the key to understanding a dungeon lies within its core, though even top researchers like Ellie have failed to fully comprehend it. Gold jokes that with Nemu tagging along, they probably won't uncover any secrets either, prompting Light to tease him back by saying he's equally useless in that regard. As they journey deeper, the atmosphere changes dramatically. The cold, dark corridors give way to a lush, vibrant forest, teeming with strange wildlife. Gold admires the beauty of their surroundings, while Nemu observes that no other adventurers seem to be nearby. Preparing for exploration, Light casts concealment and buff spells to enhance their abilities, and the group takes to the skies to scout from above. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the dungeon, the arrogant elf from earlier, whose name is revealed to be Kaido, rages against a horde of orcs, venting his frustration over his earlier humiliation by Light's group. Cutting down the monsters with fury, Kaido shouts that he deserves more respect, claiming to be the youngest white knight of the Elf Kingdom and the descendant of a legendary hero. His butler, a dark elf named Yana, calmly reminds him that their objective is to reach the 3rd floor, not waste time slaughtering beasts. Enraged by his butler's tone, Kaido turns his blade toward him, shouting that the only reason he's not more respected is because his level is capped at 1500. Yanuk points out that Kaido has already surpassed the typical elf level cap, but the young master refuses to accept it, insisting that someone of his bloodline should possess limitless potential. Pretending to sympathize, Yanuk reminds Kaido that he too was exiled from his homeland for experimenting on ways to break the level limit. When Kaido demands that Yanuk help him level up further, the dark elf grins sinisterly and agrees, though Kaido secretly plans to kill him once he's outlived his usefulness. Back on the 3rd floor, Light's team finishes slaying a group of trolls and collects their magic gems as proof of their exploration. They decide to head back to the surface, with Nemu offering to help clean the dirt off her master. Once they return to the 1st floor, Light suggests walking since Gold's shining armor draws too much attention. Along the way, they spot the young adventuring party from earlier struggling against goblins. Gold remarks that the kids are strong enough to handle such weak monsters, but Light notices a hidden danger they've overlooked. Before the young adventurers realize what's happening, Light swiftly strikes, pinning down a camouflaged bush snake that had been waiting to attack. He warns them that if the snake had bitten one of them, its venom would have paralyzed them completely, leaving them vulnerable to stronger enemies. The kids thank Light profusely for saving them, but his expression suddenly darkens as he senses another presence. From a distance, a pack of bush wolves emerges, surrounding them. The kids panic, but Light calmly tells them not to worry. The wolves aren't the real threat. The beasts rush past harmlessly, avoiding the group entirely. Before the kids can comprehend what's happening, a massive shadow looms over them, a 4-scythed mantis behemoth, an ancient monster species thought to have gone extinct over 10 years ago. towers above them. The children stare in horror, realizing that the real battle has only just begun. But that's where this episode ends. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.